And so we're thinking maybe that this Polish network assumed that I was an official general for the U.S. It was right about the time that the Gulf War was kicking up, and Poland was one of the first countries that supported the U.S.'s stance and everything. So there was a lot of, you know, it never all made sense until I got back on the airplane to check out. Just before we got on the airplane, I got called up to the ticket agency, and I got a free upgrade to first class. You know, and I was surprised, but they said, well, we do this, you know, for all generals. But the English is just a little bit off, you know, and so I just thought, well, you know, for General Motors managers or what, you know, I'm not too smart, you know. So sometimes when you get into different cultures, things. The other thing that was kind of weird about that trip was the Japanese guy traveled with us on Saturday to do the sightseeing, and we went to Auschwitz. Auschwitz is a concentration camp from World War II, and that's where the Germans had exterminated a lot of the Jews and Jewish sympathizers and stuff. Well, the Japanese were on the German side. You know, and we couldn't figure out how come this Japanese guy all of a sudden was kind of, you know, real quiet and just kind of followed along. Well, he was probably thinking, you know, we still hated him because he was on the run. Anyway, that Auschwitz was a good place, a somber place to visit. But it's, if you ever get to that part of the country, it's worthwhile to go and visit. Remember the movie? What's the name of the movie? Schindler's List? Schindler's List. There's a scene in Schindler's List where two guards are up on top of the tower and they're making sport of shooting prisoners. You know, can you shoot that one that far away? You know, you're not that good of a shot and that kind of thing. Well, when we came in, it looked like that scene that we had walked underneath that tower. And so the one young guy with us, I said, Ted, I says, I'm going up there. And he says, what? I said, just be quiet. When nobody's looking, I'm jumping over that. Is it time?
No, go ahead, you're fine.
You sure?
Do you mind holding on for 1 second? Just no. Okay. We're going to have to go on for how many more minutes?
2.
2 more minutes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks. Your time's got a little bit extended, but.
I can't talk that. So anyway, to make a long story short, the one guy that was traveling with us was Kauser. He's a real loud type guy. And so I told Ted, I said, let's go. Nobody's looking, you know. And so we jumped over the string on the stairway. You know, I just kind of opened it up. And we shot up there. Kauser's down below us, yelling, "You can't go up there!" You know, and I'm thinking, man, you know, what a bonehead. You know, we know we can't go up here. We're going anyway. But you got up at the top, and it's the only tower that is. They didn't restore it. They didn't destroy it to leave it as a memorial. But it is that tower where they shot the picture, and it's pretty spooky. You know, to think of 90,000 people were living in that field, and all the death and destruction that went on. Okay, so I got to go 2 more minutes.
Oh, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
When you were working for GM, how often did you have to travel? Was it like once a month, or?
The last 8 years that I worked for GM, I was gone 100 nights a year on an average. So that's a hotel night.
I'm sorry,
Okay.
Bruce. How many days did you say you traveled?
100 nights. So that's at least 2 days. So that's okay. Those are nights away. I used to count the nights away. Okay, because if I could travel to Dayton or Toledo and do it down and back in 1 day, I would do that as often as I could. So I drove a lot of miles. and flew a lot of miles during those 8 years. Recently in the news,